everyone, it's Marisa from bumblebeeapothecary.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make a cauliflower pizza crust. So there are a few different ways that you can make a grain-free pizza crust, and I have another video which I'll link below where I show how to make a coconut version. Both that one and this one that I'm about to show you are great options if you're on the GAPS diet or if you're just wanting to cut down on grains for whatever reason. And I really like this cauliflower one. I think of all the grain-free pizza crust recipes that I have made, I think this one is my favorite. Let's jump in and get started. I'm going to start by preheating my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. So I have that on and preheating. To make this recipe, you can either use fresh heads of cauliflower or you can use frozen riced cauliflower. I usually will do the frozen riced cauliflower just because it's fast and easy. I'm going to start by taking a nice big baking sheet. I like something with edges, like a jelly roll pan. I have these stainless steel baking sheets that I really like. I use them for all kinds of things. I'm going to take some parchment paper and just put some of that into the bottom of this pan. The size of pan that you use is going to be kind of flexible. I would just use what you have. I do like this bigger size. I think this is like 7 by 14 inches. It works really well for this recipe, but if you have a much smaller pan, you can cut this recipe in half or whatever you need to do. It's somewhat flexible. And then we're going to get our cauliflower ready. So if you're starting out with fresh heads of cauliflower, you're just going to want to cut that up, take the leaves off, cut the core out of it, chunk it up into some big chunks, and then put it in your food processor, and you're just going to pulse it until it's like a rice consistency, and then you'll continue with the rest of these steps. If you're using frozen riced cauliflower like I am, then we're going to go ahead and take that out of the package. And then for amounts, this recipe that I'm making is going to call for 4 pounds of riced cauliflower or 2 good size heads of fresh cauliflower. You can also just cut this recipe in half, like I said, if you don't want to make so much at one time. And then we're just going to take our cauliflower, again, whether it's the frozen riced cauliflower or the riced cauliflower that we made ourselves from fresh cauliflower. We're just going to take that and we're going to spread it out on our parchment paper. Now later, when we come back to actually make this into the dough, I'm going to be putting all of it on one pan, but for this step where we're kind of defrosting it and helping some of the water to cook away, we are going to split it. I'm going to put half of it on one pan and half of it on another pan, just to make sure that it's, has room to spread out evenly. Some of these are kind of big frozen chunks here, but going into the oven in a second is going to fix that. Just spread it out the best that I can there, and then do the same thing on the other pan. And this cauliflower that I'm using is just riced cauliflower. There's no other ingredients added. And you can find the big giant bag like I have at Costco or other stores that sell it in larger containers like that. Or you can get smaller bags at regular grocery stores or health food stores as well. All right, so our oven is up to temperature, so I'm going to put these in 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And for around 15 to 20 minutes, what you want is for it to be completely thawed and for it to be warm enough that there's obviously, no chunks of anything frozen, and it starts to kind of steam and warm a little bit so that some of that moisture is starting to evaporate away a little bit. After 15 minutes, I'll go ahead and check on it and just see how it's doing. So now the cauliflower has come back out of the oven, so it's all completely thawed. And next is going to be a step that is pretty important to having it come out nice and crispy, and that is to squeeze the extra water out. So there's a few different ways that you can do this, and I've made this recipe quite a few times, so I've kind of figured out what works the best. So you can use just a piece of cheesecloth like this, or like a linen towel or something like that, and you can just put the cauliflower in there, squeeze it into a ball. That works just fine. What I found that is easier yet, and if you want to make this recipe, you know, on a more regular basis, you might want to think about something like this. This is a really inexpensive cheese press. There are, of course, very nice cheese presses, expensive ones, and I just found this one that was really inexpensive that I thought I would get for making this type of crust. So this does make it a lot easier, and I'll try to find where I got this and link it down below if you're looking for something like this, but this is what I've been doing. I do line this with cheesecloth, and then I'll put cauliflower in here, inside the cheesecloth, just as much as it will hold at a time. Then once I have it full, then I just gather it up and kind of twist the top and fold it over, and then use the top part here to just press all the water out. So you can see quite a bit of water comes out of here. Just get rid of that initial water that comes out, so then that way I can press it again inside the bowl. And you really do want to do this as much as you can to try to really get as much water out of there as you can. What I'll sometimes do is something like this that you can easily press on. Whatever way that you find that works, you just want to keep on pressing it and squeezing it until pretty much no water comes out. Then you know it's going to be dry enough. So I'm still getting some, so I'm just going to keep going a little bit, slowing down a bit, so we're almost there. I do like this cheese press way to do it though, because if you're just doing it in the ball, you have to use a bit less at a time to be able to manage it. And as you can see, I almost got that entire pan of cauliflower in here at a time, so it really does help make that part easier, or at least go quicker when you can do a lot at a time. Okay, so now you can see at this point when I pick it up and just press on it like that, nothing comes out. So that's a pretty good stopping point for one batch here. So then I'll just take that, open it up, and put that pressed cauliflower into another bowl. And then I'm just going to repeat this with the rest of the cauliflower that I have here. Okay, so now that we have the moisture pressed out of the cauliflower, which is a little bit of a job, but it's worth it, I promise. We're just going to add a few more ingredients. I'm going to add 2 eggs, some Italian seasoning, or this could just be dried basil or just dried oregano, whatever you have and whatever you like. I will add about a teaspoon. I have this Italian seasoning mix that I get from Azure Standard, so it's a blend of a bunch of different Italian type spices, so I like to add about a teaspoon of that. And give it just a little sprinkle of salt, probably a quarter of a teaspoon. And then 1 cup of shredded cheese. For cheese, I really like this raw cheddar that we have. I like that it's white because then it still kind of looks like mozzarella, and it's really delicious. Mozzarella is not one of those hard cheeses that's on the GAPS diet. So this white cheddar, this raw milk cheddar, is a really nice thing to use on GAPS. But of course, if you're not on GAPS and you're making this, then you can use mozzarella. So then we're just going to mix all of that together until it's really well blended and incorporated. Then we're going to take just 1 pan this time. We're going to use a new piece of parchment paper. We're going to put this mixture onto the pan. And then just spread it out so that it is evenly spread all over this pan into the rectangle shape. So then now I have my oven temperature bumped up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And now that I have this all nice and spread out in the pan, I'm just going to put this into my oven for about 20 minutes and let that start cooking. Okay, so this has been in the oven for 20 minutes, and the actual time might vary a little bit depending on different factors, but around 20 minutes is usually good. And then if you want to, you don't have to do this, but if you can, it's nice. And this is cool enough to handle because I actually had to pull it out of the oven and go run and pick up someone from school. But if you want to, and this might be easier too if you have it split into two and you're just doing two smaller pizzas or something like that, but you can flip it over like that, and that does help it become crispier too, and then pop it back into the oven for just a few more minutes. Now at this point, we are ready to go ahead and add the pizza toppings. So if you have a recipe that you like for pizza sauce, you can use that. You can use like a basic marinara sauce or a basic tomato sauce, whatever you have, whatever you like. You can also find some nice organic pizza sauces like this one that I picked up without additives or sugar or anything, and so that's what I'm using. So you can build this however you want, whatever your favorite pizza toppings are, you can go ahead and add them. I'm just going to do this sauce and then some cheese and some pepperoni. So I have some more of my raw cheddar like I was using before. I like to get these from big blocks of this cheese from Azure Standard and shred it myself. I'll usually shred a bunch of it at one time and then freeze bags of it, so then that way I don't have to do that very often, and then I have shredded cheese on hand. If you're not on GAPS, of course you can use mozzarella, you can use a combination of different cheeses if you want. If you are on GAPS, you will want to stick with those hard cheeses just because those are the kind where lactose is not present anymore. So cheddar is one of those allowed cheeses, and so that's why I'm using this one. I usually like to get my kids involved with this step too because they think it's really fun to help decorate the pizza. And then I'm going to do some pepperoni. So I like to look for a natural uncured pepperoni that doesn't have preservatives or sugar or MSG and things like that. Usually I can find something like that at a local health food store, but I will try to look for something similar online and link that down below in case you guys want to see an example of some pepperoni that would work for GAPS. Okay, and then it is back into the oven, still at our 450 degrees Fahrenheit, for a few minutes. It usually takes 5 to 10 minutes for everything just to get really nice and melted. You just kind of have to keep an eye on it and then take it out when it's the way that you like how it looks. I'm gonna start by setting the timer for 5 minutes and then check on it after that. Alright, so here it is out of the oven. This is how we like our pizza to look. It looks nice and bubbly and hot. Cheese is nice and melted and just starting to get a little bit golden. So let's go ahead and cut a piece of this and you can see what it looks like. There it is. Okay, so you can see how that crust holds up very nicely. It's sturdy enough that you can have it hold up nicely as a piece of pizza. You can also make this, of course, in a round shape so that you can slice it into the traditional pizza slice shapes if you like. But there you go. And like I said in the beginning, this is my favorite flourless, grain-free pizza crust option. I just really like the flavor and how the cauliflower just is like this nice blank slate to be able to add ingredients to and build a pizza on top of that doesn't add any other non-pizza flavors to the finished pizza. It's just, you can just enjoy your pizza and have no grains at the same time, no flours. So I hope that you like this recipe. I hope you enjoy it and give it a try. And if you do, let me know how you liked it. Check out that description box for links to free ebooks and other goodies, links to our favorite things that we like to use. I have links to resources like a 30-day meal plan for the GAPS diet. I have information on how I can help you follow the GAPS diet. I also have a brand new membership that I am just opening up where you can have live Q&As with me and exclusive discounts, group Zoom calls, all kinds of good stuff. So check out the description box for all those things. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else you think would like to learn about a really delicious grain-free, flourless pizza crust option. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I get out new videos every week on nourishing recipes and natural living. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.